but I'm gonna try not to change anything for now. So let me get back into this. So motive. One simple idea. So in the case of the song that I wrote, this was the original motive that I came up with. Just a super simple bass line. And so if we wanted to take a look at that in MIDI, I'll show you here. And then we'll get into Ableton a bit later. So that's what this looks like in MIDI. Super simple, no genius, groundbreaking idea, just one simple idea. Now I want to show you how I turned that into a whole song by just flipping it around and putting it on in different octaves and different instruments. So we'll check this out, and then I'll show you how I did it.
Got your card in the mail. You were never afraid. I could barely inhale. Heat waves in my head again. Call you from my bed. Heat waves in my head again. Call you from my bed. I get so caught up in the summer heat. I call out your name. I call out your name. I see your body in the summer heat. You crash like a wave, and I can't get out of the way. Someone give me a little release. I can't sleep, it's starting to show. Someone give me a little release. You're too deep and you don't even know. Someone give me a little release. I can't sleep and you don't even know. Someone give me a little release. I'm in too deep and you should know. I get so caught up in the summer heat. I call out your name. I call out your name. I see your body in the summer heat. You crash like a wave, and I can't get out of the way.
Okay, thanks so much for all the info in the chat. Enigmatic Onion, thank you. I love a fellow streamer, and I did turn it up. Thanks the internet for letting me know, and Sam. Yeah, Sam, I'm a huge Robin fan. Thanks thanks for that. So here's what it looked like. So let's get into some of the things I shifted around while I was doing this. Okay, so the first thing we can do is super simple, is just to extend or truncate the section. And so in this case, I extended it by pushing the duplicate button in my MIDI clip, and then I just added one extra note to sort of give it more of a conversational phrase. So this is how this sounds. All right. So that kind of became the the bass phrase that we're out. So I started to have a lot of fun. So stretching and compressing, reverting, creating a sequence, which is when you move the entire line down by a number of notes, and transposing, changing the mode. So here are some more examples. So here it is in reverse. So this is one that can just completely change your melody, but make it still feel like it ties in with the song. Because when we change rhythm and melody, the whole thing, and we're doing that all the time, the whole thing can feel sort of disjointed and like you're just sort of patching together a lot of ideas that don't really go together in a conversation, which is really what music is. We're trying to express an idea just like we would if we were talking to someone in the moment. So by using things like, reversing, we're still holding on to the same notes and the same rhythm, but we're just switching it up a little bit. So here's what it sounds like reversed. So again, here is the original. And then here it is in reverse. So I didn't end up using this one in the song, but I developed it a bit further. And I'll show you what happened. So next I duplicated again, but I also compressed it. And then I switched it out. I switched out some of the notes, or more rather muted them by, pressing 0. And let's take a listen to this. So I was also, of course, another thing you can do is just change the instrument. And now this is starting to sound very, very different from the original motive, which was... But it still ties in together. So it all sort of works together as this musical idea. So next, I want to think about how can I start putting these ideas together in a way where I'm not just giving you the same exact rhythm on top of the same exact rhythm on top of the same exact rhythm, because that gets kind of boring. So one thing we can start doing is thinking about counterpoint within our song. So counterpoint, it's kind of just a fancy way of saying different musical ideas are happening in tandem with each other. And it's, it's we can go all the way back to classical counterpoint where there was tons and tons of rules, or we can talk more about just, counterpoint as it relates to modern music, and, it's all still the same sort of things apply. So let me get up. I want to play you guys a bit of a square pusher song, which really embodies this concept. So listen for the different parts happening within this. Okay, so yeah, thanks, Simple Sam. Yeah, square foots are super cool. So that's just a great example of like some really, really cool ideas happening at the same time. I think the easiest way to think about it is that if you took away one idea, the other idea would keep carrying the song as a melody. So it's not like you're just putting a sort of like doom, boom, bum, doom, 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 bum, bass line in, and then putting a melody over it. That's not really counterpoint in the way I'm thinking of it, which is two independent melodies weaving in and out with each other. So when we talk about counterpoint, we want to be aware that there's several different ways it can sort of work, and these come from classical counterpoint. So the notes can move in this exact same direction at the exact same distance from each other. The notes can move in opposite directions. The notes can move in the same direction, but not at the exact same distance from each other. And then one of my personal favorites is something actually called oblique motion, which is when one note stays the same and the other notes change under it. And that's actually what I ended up doing for the bridge of this song. So let's jump over into Ableton, and I'm going to show you some of the things that I'll break down some of these concepts in Ableton. And we're getting there. Oh, Ecamm. Do I have any other Ecamm users in the house? Here we go. Oh. Okay, here we go. Cool. So here we go. Let's go get over into Ableton. All right. So here is this original motive. Super simple. And I want to show you kind of in real time all the ways that I changed this. So I'm just going to go ahead and Apple C, Apple D to duplicate it. And now on this new clip, I'm going to just hit reverse. And there we go. It's reversed. Sorry, guys. Did you lose me when I soloed that? Okay, we're back. So let's hear all of these now in, actually, let me show you one more that I really like, which is the legato function, because I really like putting an arpeggiator on that. So let's put make this legato. So let me play these all in a row, and then we'll start messing with them even more. Okay, so to create more syncopation, once we start stacking these on top of each other, I'm going to put an arpeggiator on this. So let's check it out with 16th note arpeggiation. Oh. Better to type it in. Having some funny, just a whole bunch of funny computer things happening today. All right, so let's check this out. Okay, so a couple things with this. One, I want to go in and stretch these so it's not re-articulating the arpeggio in the middle of a note. Let's check out this. And you could hear how this came in slightly late. This A sharp is just a little messy going in there. And it really becomes quite clear when you have an arpeggiator on there. So let's now listen to this. Okay, cool. So now obviously I don't want to have, if you were making this as one line, we wouldn't want to have the arpeggiator on here the whole time. So we can go in and automate the arpeggiator to turn off here by clicking A to get into automation mode. And then I'm going to go here and I just want to turn my arpeggiator on here. I'm not going to mess with any other parameters right now. So I've just turned it off and on before that section starts. So now if we play it from here, okay, cool. So let's go back and look at this a bit more, and then I'm going to show you how to put it all together as a song on push. So when we're starting to think about how we can, start putting these ideas together, one thing I like to think about with developing counterpoint is syncopation. So when notes are coming into play on upbeats, sort of like dancing around each other is sort of one way I like to think about it. Rhythmic ratios. So this is kind of as it sounds. So if you have one note on top of one note, that's 1-to-1. If you have two notes on the bottom of one note, that's 2-to-1. 3, that's 3-to-1, and 4, that's 4-to-1. And then we can also do a counter line, so like a call and response. And then just it all comes back to tension and release. So creating tension and then releasing that all throughout a song in any style of music. Here written out are those different kinds of counterpoint I was talking about. So we have contrary, and this goes back to the old days of counterpoint, but it totally rings true for today. So where we have contrary, notes are moving in different directions. They're contrary to each other. To the right here, parallel. Notes are moving in the exact same direction at the exact same distance. So if the top note is going up a step, the bottom note is going up a step. Similar motion, that's the notes are going in the same direction, but not at the exact same distance. So maybe one is going down by a major second, and one is going by a minor third, something like that. And then oblique motion, this one I mentioned before, when one is staying the same and one is changing. We also sometimes talk about pedaling bass in this way. When we hold a chord and we change the bass note, we can refer to that as pedaling the bass. I love how that sounds. Actually, Michael McDonald does that a lot. My guilty pleasure. So as I was starting to put this together with the call and response and the syncopation, I used that arpeggiator that I just showed you. And then I also created this really syncopated vocal line, which you can see on the top here. And then I created a call and response line below that with the vocal. So let me show you how this sounds.
Crash like a wave, and I can't get out of the way. Someone give me a little release. I can't sleep, it's starting to show. Someone give me a little release. You're too deep and you don't even know. Someone give me a little release. I can't sleep and you don't even know. Someone give me a little release. I'm in too deep and you should know. I get so caught up in the summer heat. I call out your name. I call out your name. I see your body in the summer heat.
Okay, so there's like 3 different rhythms happening here. There's the main vocal line going, someone give me a little release, someone give me a little release. That's syncopating against the 16th note arpeggiator that's going da 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 da, very straight, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a da 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 da, and the vocals are going da 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 da. So that's creating tension there. Then the background vocals are coming in with, and now I'm calling, and those are on 8th notes. So that's a new rhythm being introduced against the syncopation that's already happening. And it's super easy to achieve. It's only like 2 instruments, vocals and bass. So creating small variations in the notes and creating a sequence is now a good way to start developing new motives. So I developed one more motive for this song, which was just the verse vocal. And it goes, how's your life in LA? That's the first. Got your card in the mail. So I changed one note. I went down. And then I sequenced it. So here on the second line, I went up by one whole step. You were never afraid. And then I went back down. I could never inhale. And that created the whole verse melody. So let's go back to Ableton and let's take a look at push. Are there any push fans in the house here? Nice. So yeah, I'm a huge fan of push. I really, really like it for live performance because it allows me to sort of be creative in the moment and, trigger different things in different nights I'm performing. Maybe I want to do it slightly different one night than the other. And I have just a lot of fun with it. So I'm going to show you my screen while I trigger on the push. We're going to flip over into session view. And here's where I put all of these different sort of makeups of this. So as I started exploring this song, I put what I call my pantry, where I put all the ideas that I have. And most of them were just that one idea, just flipped around. And then, I think we can get so serious when we're writing songs, and I try to keep it really playful when you're in the writing stage. So just start with, triggering some patterns together, see if you can come up with a melody that you like for that. And then, if you like it, awesome. If you don't, keep going. But what I started with was, and you'll see it here on the screen, was I started with just the original motive. Oh. No, thank you. Okay, so I'm going to sort of walk you through how I did this. So you could do this on push, but you can also do it if you don't have a push. You can just trigger things on your own. So I'm triggering the drums, triggering the bass. You got one over again. I know how it's gonna end. And then you do it again. We could never be friends. So we're getting a little bit of latency with the lead vocal, but you can sort of get the idea there. So now let's change it up. Let's go from the original motive to just that motive doubled. So I'm going to turn it off while I re-trigger the double. Okay, and let's add in one more element. Got some reversing and some compressing going on, and this sort of ended up becoming the pre-chorus, and I sang, we'll try to do it with the latency. Heat waves hit me in the head with everything you said. I call you from my bed. Okay, then for the chorus, I went back to the original motive, so let's trigger that. And I looped up some background vocals, which I've printed just for latency's sake. And we'll trigger those next.
I get so caught up in this summer heat. I call out your name. I call out your name. I see your body in the summer heat. You crash like a wave.
So I'm going to sing you the chorus without the music playing so we can give ourselves a little more CPU here. So the chorus goes, in the summer heat, I call out your name. I call out your name. I see your body in the summer heat. You crash like a wave, and I can't get out of the way. So let's check out that one more time, and then I just added also a sub bass that's side chained in the chorus, so we get that like wah. I wanted this to feel really like a wave, sort of hitting you. This chorus, so we'll put that this time too.
I get so caught up in this summer heat. I call out your name. I call out your name. I see your body in the summer heat. You crash like a
Okay,
wave.
bass coming in.
I get so caught up in this summer heat.
Soloed.
Body in the summer heat. You crash like a wave. I get so caught up in this
All right.
summer heat.
So now I'm gonna get out of this and get back into a verse.
Call out your name. I see your body in the summer heat. You crash.
Okay, so sort of expanding and contracting. And then let's get back into that pre-chorus.
I get so caught up in this
Chorus.
summer heat. I call out your name. I call out your name. I see your body in the summer heat. You crash like a wave.
Okay, now we're gonna get it into that arpeggiated section.
Call out your name. I call out your name. I see your body in the
Someone give me a little release. In too deep and you don't even know.
Someone give me a little release.
In too deep and you don't even know.
Someone give me a little release.
I'm in too deep and you should know. And then this will bring us into the last chorus.
I get so caught up in this summer heat. I call out your name. I call out your name. I see your body in the summer heat. You crash like a wave.
And then we can start taking out and then add back in this double part. Okay, so there's sort of the gist of how this song came to be, and it really did not take very long to put it together once I was limiting myself to using this one motive. And of course, the songwriting process and production process is different for each person. It's different with each song. But I'm always a fan of self-imposed limitations. I think it can actually lead to more creativity and certainly sort of fast track you to getting where you want to be in terms of a finished product. So it took just an hour or so to kind of put that together. And then what I would do from here is probably record that into arrangement view and then start really working on filling in the gaps. So adding in some more textures, adding in some risers, adding in maybe kind of like molding my bass and my kick sound more. But since I set up the most important parts first, I'm not going to be in sort of a mess with mixing because I think we've all been, I know I have certainly been in the position where I have a song with many, many tracks and I've forgotten which one is even the focal point of the track. And that's something that I've in the years I've been producing really learned to get out ahead in front of in the early stages of pre-production. Like, what is my motif? What do I want the listeners to be focused on? And in this song, it's the drums, the bass, and the vocals. But how can that move throughout the song so it's not just a loop that we hear for 4 minutes? Because that's also not very interesting. So, once we get over here, I can go back and I'll loop this and show you some ways you could start to have some fun sort of molding this to be a better, for lack of a better term, better sound. Okay, so the first is sort of putting it into the pocket. I, especially with basses, really obsess about note placement and note length. So I have nudged these ever so slightly. I want this to be just a little bit behind beat. Oh, it looks like that got copied there. Not crazy, but I don't want this to feel just perfectly quantized the entire time. I also want to really think about my note length. So right now I have dump, bump, ba-da, dump. I think I'm going to just tighten this up ever so slightly. Let's put some drums in to sort of get more of a sense. Oh. Okay, and then you always want to go in and inspect velocities. So the way because I'm sort of a vocalist, producer, I like to think of how I would sing something. So bum, bum, ba dum, dum, bum. So I don't feel like the second note should be louder. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to take the velocity here down a little bit. Looks like this one also had a little note come along the ride with him. So bum, bum, ba. That feels like it should be accented. So I'm going to bring that back up. So we have bum, bum, ba, da. These two, I'd like to take down just a little bit. And what just happened there, by the way, actually Apple Z, so I can show you. So what happened, somehow this note got a little person attached, and that's why we have two velocities there. So we just want to get rid of that shorter one, so that we're only dealing with one velocity, one note. Okay, so let's check this out now. It's subtle, but this is kind of what, you know, the thoughtfulness that makes something sound really, really musical. Great. Okay, so I just want to shorten this up just a little bit more. Okay, great. And now I'm going to drop on one of my favorite plugins for bass, Decapitator by Sound Toys. Let's just get this so it's starting on the 1. Our drums were sort of starting on the 2 before, so we weren't hearing the proper cycle. So there we go. So let's see. Let me show you if I turn Decapitator all the way up, what it will do. If I put on Punish. Something I'm a fan of doing is getting it to a place where I dig the sound. So like using that punish button, but then after I've dialed that in, backing off the wet dry. If we bypass it, on again. I give it a little more. And then another thing I might consider doing, or you might consider doing, is using filters to your advantage. So if I give myself a few extra bars of this and drop an auto filter on this, what I'm going to do is sort of bring it in subtly. So let me show you, for anyone who's not familiar, what this auto filter will do. And I love to do a lot of automation with filters. So an extreme way that you can do this is go into automation mode, A, and then I'm going to automate the frequency. So I want to always come over here and make sure I'm on the right tool. And frequency, that's really what was moving this back and forth. And I want to start about, I'll start about here. And I'm going to just gradually bring it in. So that by the time we get to, maybe this is the intro, and by the time we get to the verse, it's really happening. And so you can look at the automation, but down here on the auto filter, that's showing the action that the automation is performing. So let's just check that out one more time. So that's just one tiny automation. I would then go in with each part with multiple different plugins, with filters, delays, reverbs, and really fine tune every single instrument, especially when I'm working with a song with so few instruments. I want to make sure each one feels really musical, that it's really moving throughout the song. And it doesn't have to be huge changes. So like if we take our ARP, for instance, I might just do a little bit of, we'll grab a different filter, grab Filter Freak, just so it doesn't feel quite so robotic, but that it really feels like a living, breathing instrument. So I'll grab Sound Toys, Filter Freak. That's another one I really, really like. It's coming. Come on, Filter Freak, you can do this. You guys cannot see the spinning wheel of death, but we have all been there. Here we go. Okay, so let's just move our frequency up and down while we listen to this ARP. So that is kind of what I'm talking about, just really, really subtle. So I'm going to go in here, and you could press B and draw this in. That's kind of a nice way to just create some variation. You can also, manually do it. You can play it in. Now, to create a little bit more dynamics, I'm going to get rid of what I just did. And I'm still going to use the draw tool, but I'm going to gradually just up the frequency so that my filter is opening more and more and more as I go. Okay, so that's one way you could go with that. So that would sort of be my next step. I would probably, not start it quite so low. But that would be my next step in bringing all of this sort of arrangement I had, and then sculpting the sounds and getting it to feel really good. So that's developing a motif, making really small moves to develop a song in a short amount of time. Does anyone, I'm going to check I couldn't see the chat the whole time I was doing that. So I want to check out the chat. All the plugins. Yeah. Decapitator, Enigmatic Onion. Decapitator's awesome on bass. Sound Toys goes so hard. Really Giuliani freestyle videos. And yeah, I'm a huge fan of Diva for bass sounds, Diva the plugin. Yeah, guys, it's so great to have this first week with you, and we will have all of the technical issues worked out for next week. But I'm really, really excited for next week. We're gonna have a whole new song, whole new technique, and meanwhile, for tomorrow. We have a wonderful bill lined up with Tetro. And thanks again, everyone. Definitely hit us up at 343 with questions or thoughts on this. And I can't wait to see you next week. So in the meantime, tune in again tomorrow. And thanks, everyone, so much. Have a great rest of your day, guys.